Back at it again, and we've got one here from Tucker Carlson. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new, and let's dive in.
Nations are defined by the people who live in them. That is the most basic of all observations about the world. China is different from Barbados, and not just because of geography. Austria and Zimbabwe are both landlocked countries in the middle of large continents, but they are not the same. That's because their populations are different. If you have a country brimming with people who work hard, believe in Christianity and Western standards of fairness, and are willing, therefore, to settle their differences without violence, you will likely have a peaceful, prosperous nation. You will have Sweden 50 years ago, before millions of non-Swedes arrived. If, by contrast, you have a nation full of people, however friendly and cheerful they may be, who don't believe in any of that, who embrace tribalism rather than universal principles of justice, who think 40 hours a week is too much for a man to work, and who, for whatever reason, have low impulse control, then you will get a place like Congo, a country that has remained in a state of perpetual civil war since before most Americans were born. It's that simple. There's a reason the German sections of southern Brazil are affluent and orderly, while Amazonia is not. It's because of the people. This is obvious. No honest person denies it or has ever denied it. But in this moment of national madness that has gripped the United States, our leaders are pretending that none of it is true, although, of course, they know perfectly well that it is true. The result is a country, our country, that is changing faster than it ever has, but not through democratic means. Instead, by force, through waves of mass immigration that not a single American voted for. What's happening is a crime. It violates both federal law and the core precept of democracy, which is that citizens get to govern their own countries. And it's fueled by anti-white racial hostility. That is not a guess. The people doing it say so out loud. They brag about it. They are criminals. They must be punished for what they have done. In the meantime, it's worth knowing exactly what they are doing. This was the scene at the so-called border at El Paso, Texas the other day.
That is insane. Crazy.
That's your country being invaded. It will never be the same. Republicans in Congress, the Republican governor of Texas, do nothing as this happens. Democrats cheer it on. They know that America will soon be a one-party state, and they'll be in charge. Immigration is the reason. Todd Bensman joins us now from the border. He's a longtime journalist and the author of the new book, Overrun: How Joe Biden Unleashed the Greatest Border Crisis in American History. Todd, thanks so much for joining us. Where are you?
I am in Piedras Negras, which is in Mexico, just across from Eagle Pass, Texas. This has been a red-hot spot for illegal immigration for the last couple weeks.
Who's coming across, do you think, and how many?
Right now, immigrants from 160 different countries are crossing this border. These are going to be people from other than Mexico and other than Central America, really from all over the world, Middle Easterners, people from every country of Africa, and the numbers are absolutely stupendous. This mass migration crisis of the last 36 months, 30 plus months, broke every record in the national history books already. But now we're in a surge that is breaking all of those records. We're looking at, 14,000 apprehensions a day, 10,000, 11, 12,000 a day, where like 1,000 a day once upon a time a few years ago was considered a national emergency. It's 14,000. We're looking at probably pushing 300,000 plus a month, and I think it's going to be closer to 400,000 a month if you consider the CBP One app where they're bringing them in over the ports of entry. You don't see those ones, and flying tens of thousands directly from foreign countries into 43 American airports directly. So you don't see all that. There's going to be a lot of runners and gotaways as well to add to that.
And I think we've got to operate on the assumption that none of these people are going back to their countries of origin, that all of them are being supported by American taxpayers and have an expectation of staying here.
Absolutely. First of all, we're pushing 5 million people that we know for sure are inside the country in a very short period of time. Just the logistics of trying to track down everybody and execute deportation orders, and it's just they're just going to, your odds if you're an individual immigrant who crossed in and stayed in are just phenomenal that you can just disappear into the ether of the country. Nobody's leaving.
So you're describing a total collapse of the rule of law.
Absolutely. If you come to the U.S. southern border, if you are able to get over this river behind me and into the hands of Biden's Border Patrol, you are guaranteed entry and stay in the United States. You're almost guaranteed. In addition to that, the administration has put together 3 or 4 different what they call lawful pathways that they are enabling people to cross, like kind of pre-legalized, pre-approved. They just kind of came up with this off the top of their heads, but like hundreds of thousands of foreign nationals are entering that way. 1 to 5 different ways that you can enter the country and successfully stay for a long term, because the whole calculus for the immigrants is, if I lay down $10,000 in smuggling fees, I want a return on investment. And that is entry and long-term stay so I can pay it back. And that is guaranteed right now. So Honduran villages are emptying out. Population transfers are happening right now from places like Cuba, Guatemala, African countries. People are coming, they're emptying out of their countries and coming through because there's a return on that smuggling investment to get here, because we are letting them in. We are deporting almost no one. We are detaining almost no one. I've interviewed thousands of these immigrants. On the other side at the bus station, you can find them with their papers 24 hours after they get caught crossing over here. They're stamped in and they're on a bus to New York City or wherever, all across the country.
We are not, like you said, we're letting them. I mean, it's our criminal political class and the criminal NGOs who are pilot fished on that class who are making this possible. But most people are totally opposed to this. It's supposed to be our country. We're supposed to be its owners. We're paying for this. And I wonder, at an earlier age, you would of course see American men with their own rifles standing on the border stopping it. Does there come a point where people just say, this is a criminal government and we're going to stop the invasion of our country?
I mean, listen, ultimately this is an electoral issue. This is going to come down to the 2024 election. Who is in the inauguration seat in January 2025. This thing started in a 24-hour period. You can trace it right to the day it started, Inauguration Day 2021. It has a very distinct beginning, and it can be ended in 24 hours just as well, with the kind of policies that make that smuggling investment not worth it, not worth the risk. That's really what the calculus is. And also remember that, I've never met an immigrant who wasn't equipped with a cell phone, a modern cell phone connected to social media, and everybody down trail is very keyed in on their phones to everybody up trail. And when we as the U.S. government let them in, that immediately broadcasts to the entire world of aspiring immigrants, and that's when villages empty out, and that's what's happening right now. The only way to really stop this is with policies that take away the reward for laying your smuggling money down on the green felt.
You're in Texas. I don't know if you live there full time, but you're certainly there a lot. When you visit Texas now, it's very obvious that the state has changed, and for the much worse. Litter everywhere. It's chaotic. The political balance is changing because the demographic balance is changing. Do people in Texas see this as an emergency, do you think? And if so, why is nobody doing anything about it?
Yes, I do believe that there is a dawning realization, not just in Texas, but in cities like Chicago and New York and Boston and Miami and everywhere else where unfunded masses of people are suddenly showing up with, nobody expected, we weren't budgeted for this, we don't have anywhere to put them or anywhere to feed them, and that is just getting going. You ain't seen nothing yet compared to what's coming. And in Texas, you have the big cities, obviously there are, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people settling in those cities, and they're settling everywhere else too, and you can't not notice it. The regular voter, the regular American, anybody, Democrats too, can't help but notice this as a big pocketbook issue and some other issues too. This is transformative, what's happening to the United States. If we've had 5 million, and that's an undercount, now we very well may have another 3 or 4 million by the end of the first Biden term.
Yeah. Things are, excuse me, things are absolutely wild. Excuse my coughing. I'm a little under the weather. Pardon me. But, I came across this clip from Rob Smith on Twitter. And, yeah, this stuff is wild, man. I want to read this for you guys and get your kind of thought on this situation. So, we have it here from Rob Smith. I used to think the Democrat plan for illegals was about votes. I was wrong. The plan is for untrained, America-hating military that has been purged of all of its strongest people to be unable to defend this country against the violent military-aged males flooding into this country by the millions that will be activated to do the dirty work. Now, even if you want to go back to the Tucker Carlson clip here, I have to try to find that piece. So if you look at this image here, what do you not see? Women. Now, there might be no, actually, no. I think that's the guy right there. And, a lot of these images coming out, it's all men. So maybe that is, the plan B or the ace up their sleeve, is to create chaos in the United States to bring upon us a surveillance state where they're trying to protect us, right, from terrorists or whatever, in the United States. Maybe that is the case. Hey, we're going to flood this nation with a bunch of people that don't really care about this nation. As we've seen, we saw someone plant a Venezuelan flag basically on American soil. I don't know if you guys remember that image. I believe it was like in the middle of a river, like right before the American soil. So, I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. All of this stuff is wild, man. And I agree with Tucker. These guys are criminals. These guys are absolute criminals. And they're yelling and screaming about, oh, man, the Republicans don't wanted to defund the Border Patrol or whatever. The Border Patrol aren't really doing anything, in my humble opinion. They're just letting people walk through. I've seen, folks, Border Patrol, I think they're Border Patrol, cutting through barbed wire so that migrants could just walk through. Like, huh? So we're paying you to allow people to just walk in? We could just do that without you even being on the job. Like, what are we doing? I mean, this stuff is crazy. Like, once again, excuse my coughing. I'm a little under the weather. But yeah, y'all let me know your thoughts, your opinions. I encourage you to go check out Tucker, the whole video as well. That was only about half of it that you guys saw there. So yeah, y'all let me know in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.